All right, how's it going, you guys? This is Peter Han again, and we're here for another book tour. This is one of my own personal sketchbooks, and we'll just kind of see what's inside in content. So it's a little bit of a mystery, and it seems like a regular sketchbook, but in actuality, we have something a little bit more unique here, where you can start to open it up, and you'll see that this is actually an accordion book. So as we go to the very first page, the paper itself is actually more like a rice paper. It was really interesting. It's double stacked and layered, and I did draw on both sides of the book. So let me just give you a quick tour as to what this looks like, and we can go from page to page, and I'll tell you a bit about how I actually even do something like this in these kind of books themselves. Now, I don't really necessarily consider this an actual true sketchbook because it's not necessarily just studies only. It obviously is a bit more illustrative in terms of the way things feel and almost as if it's designed. And that is kind of something I'm thinking about as how one image transitions into another one, and also how the topic and the subject matter can kind of work into each other. But a lot of this stuff is also inspired by observations, things of travel, but also my own imagination. So here, as I go from page to page, it does seem like a regular book, but as I spread it out and open it up, you start to see then the connection of all the content. So we'll kind of pull it apart in this direction and start to see then the various amount of images and contexts of techniques and styles and subject matter within it. I like to tell stories. I like to observe nature and biology. I like to study history, so you can see certain individuals within our time in the US, but also certain properties and interesting little mixtures of stuff like this. And you're having Abraham Lincoln, all of a sudden Godzilla. I tend to kind of jump around quite a bit. So it's a lot of fun and entertaining to kind of develop, different kind of visuals and, different techniques in terms of use of materials. So it's all mostly ink, but watercolor can also be used, and also markers can also be used as well too. And once I got to the end of the book, I thought, well, that was it, and it was pretty fun, but I wanted to keep going. So instead of buying a new one, I just flipped it and went the other way. So I went to the back of the book, and I kept going on this side as well too, and I filled the whole end of it as well. And so this continues to spread and build and build. And so I always keep an eye out for these kind of books because they're a little bit more unique. And to be quite honest with you, I actually don't even know what the brand is. This is part of that whole Godzilla thing. And I think I had found it at a bookstore. And I kind of wish I had bought a couple more copies myself to kind of draw in. But accordion books are out there from different brands. And if you do have them, the idea is to, again, like I said, play around with different aesthetics and different kind of ideas, have them overlap on top of each other. And as I go from one piece to another one, it's always influencing the next thing. So if I study, let's say, architectural structures, well, how do I apply that to a ship? Oh, we got tech details. How do I apply that into suits and armor? I got that information of interaction. Well, how do I put that into fantasy? So it all is interconnected together in an interweaved kind of overlapping situation. So there's nothing that's necessarily isolated and standing on its own. And that's why it then makes it feel very cohesive and a much more interesting experience for the viewer as they pick it up and play with it. So that's a little tour of an accordion sketchbook for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and check me out next time.